Happy time zone, everybody. Welcome back to ZSR and some more Crosskeys action. This is a 3-2 match between Kotose and VeXtopher. I got the amazing Ampharos and Jaxie to do the talking. Blank is going to track with me, Tumultac, who is also your restreamer tonight. I'm going to let the comms talk. I'm going to go push buttons. Enjoy the show.
So yeah, we have a 3-2 match on our hands here, and it's important to keep in mind what's at stake. The loser's done, the winner has to win one more week to make the play-in race, so we're kind of playing for all the marbles.
Yeah, this really is sort of a play-all keep-all because, as you said, you know, the loser of this is out, and the winner of this still has to play for their chance. But yeah, this should be pretty interesting. We got just a basic old Crosskeys settings, nothing special here. So yeah, this should be pretty interesting.
And yeah, it is worth noting the way the settings sort of work in this, that you automatically get the default Crosskeys if you want it. So as much variation as we've seen, it's actually, I would have expected going into this to get these sort of settings a lot more often than we did.
Yes, and I believe you mentioned the last time we calmed together about how most people's intuitions when they were signing up for this tournament was just to tick all the boxes because they wanted to get as much variation as possible, which that certainly is a way to do that.
Yeah, that's my speculation about the result we saw. But, I mean, people are interesting. You often can't predict them.
Same way as you can't predict rando. And we're going to be getting started very shortly as we see the race time countdown.
Man, remember good old predictable V18? You could predict rando.
All right, we're starting.
What a set of starting items. Kotose starts in Sank for the flute. VeXtopher starts in Link's house for the hammer. What is this?
Extremely generous is what this is. Come on, we need to have something a little more brutal. We see Tower of
I
Hero.
will throw out the slight rudeness that Kotose starts right next to a hammer drop down and Hera where the hammer would be useful. Whereas VeXtopher is more in a position... Well, the flute wouldn't be better from Link's house because it wouldn't be active, but details.
Yeah, unfortunately no active starting flute here. We found Desert Main over on Kotose's side, and Kotose is going to go check the cavern for us. Nothing there. Meanwhile, VeXtopher is going to give us a classic Houlihan start, I presume. Pretty common starting route in Crosskeys.
Yeah, this was like super meta last year. It's become rare now, but kind of the way I look at starts in Crosskeys is there are about 4 or 5 different viable ideas. They kind of fade in and out of trendiness, but pick one you're comfortable with and you'll probably do okay.
Yeah, and I mean, there's definitely routes that do work better, and there's definitely some routes that don't work. What would you say is like a route that you would prefer, like for starting out?
So personally, I've always been a big fan of just Sank start, and you just kind of adapt to what happens. There's only so many sanctuary locations, and you kind of have a route plan for all of them. Whereas, you know, like the Link's house to Houlihan start, the advantage there is it's very stable. Like, sometimes with the start Kotose is doing here, you end up in a rough spot where you just don't have a good way to get bombs. VeXtopher definitely won't have that problem. I mean, I say definitely. I guess it's possible the Light World just has no shops, but what are the odds?
Yeah, that is the one pro of doing the Houlihan route, is that you do get that assured money. But it is a little bit of a time sink to do that. And you're also getting one entrance, and then depending on what route you choose to go, which can be any number of ways.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different things you can do too. Like, you know, there is the classic sort of start at Link's house and just check the northwest shore of Lake Hylia and then start at Sank, which has its own sort of upsides. I've seen the ones that start at Link's house and beeline the bomb bushes because you don't need to find a shop. You will definitely get bombs there until you miss your 50-50 8 times in a row.
Alright, well, we've been mostly ignoring what's been going on our screens. Kotose is busy checking out the rest of Kakariko and comes across a connector. Looks like we're going to take that connector.
Yeah, sort of the big story of what's been going on screen is that, I'm gonna be real, what's going on one of these two players' streams is a touch hard to follow, but otherwise, we've mostly been learning CAC is pretty dry. Also, Kotose, no, you can't open chests as a bunny,
you're
even if you
missing
pay
something.
for it. Now, he will take your money, but he won't let you open the chest.
Unfortunate, but it's fine. We'll be able to come back later to get our money. Meanwhile,
and we're gonna vaguely see what's in Tower of Hera on VeXtopher's side. That is a small key. We might learn what it's to. Oh, Castle Tower. Very good.
Castle Tower key is nice. We only really need one of them, assuming that Aga is not required for this seed in order to be able to get
that is a
everything.
bold assumption, my friend.
I didn't say that that's going to be the case. I just said assuming that is the case. But anyways, and Kotose is bad out at pod and chooses to save and quit. Wise decision.
Yeah, Kotose just kind of took some early connectors because they were at the end of routes, didn't really want to be doing much bunny walking. The castle, great, we'll see if one of these doors goes to Light World, gets stuck, whatever, cut. Totally logical play.
And I'm going to assume we're going to be checking out the east side of Hyrule. No doubt. This is a pretty common follow-up route.
Yeah, and especially with the hammer and 3 bombs, there's extremely little risk to this play. Like, what even could you find here that would be something you'd really hate to find early because you don't have an early resource? Now, we also see a glove on the island, which is interesting, but the Hylia Island is often not really available that early.
Yes, it is possible that could be our bits on the island there and not a glove.
Now, one of the implications of that, because glove is such a big power item, once we get Pearl, if we let's just say if we get Pearl and boots before flippers, looking for a water walk setup could be a big deal here.
Yeah, that's definitely a way you could check some of the waterlocked entrances, like Zora's, like Waterfall Ferry, maybe check Zora item and Zora Ledge.
Well, I'm more saying, because if you have a water walk setup, you can mirror to that glove without flippers.
Yes, I didn't consider that. Find a bow in Super Bunny Cave. Nothing else really much. But on the bright side, this is a connector that we don't have to worry about finding the other end of. We can just simply ignore that connector and move on.
Yeah, I really can't imagine a scenario you would want to take a long connector ending in Sahasa's hut.
Yes.
Now, of course, here's one of our problems. We've already seen that pod is just the middle castle door. It'd be really nice if Eastern were also somewhere we don't have to return to.
Aw, well, maybe we don't have to return. I think we might be coming back here. Maybe. I don't know. This is.
I mean, unless there's 2 connectors to the Maya region, we already know one of the gloves isn't very accessible.
Yep.
And we do have the flute.
Yeah, flute's nice, especially for early game routing.
I I mean, in terms of how we eventually go to Mire without that connector, it's part of the solution.
All right, well, let's see what's in this other entrance. Okay, so all that we really need to go to the Mire area for is just Swamp Palace.
So Kotose did not... Well, I guess it makes sense with the early flute. Kotose did not check the Flute 5 door, but of course we can just fly to the Flute 5 door.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and check the back of Escape now.
This is a fairly disciplined move, because there's so many things you're thinking about with the set of items you can do. Just don't forget back of Escape. If it's critical, you'll feel stupid. If it's not, you've lost very little. Just good play right there.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of time to get to, and it doesn't take a lot of time to check either, so... Alright, and I'm guessing we're going to be doing a South Shore play here after this.
This is probably just checking the South of Link's house entrance and then doing some flute work. There's really no better time to do this door than right now. With the flute, you can just flute to 7 or 8 to do South Shore at your leisure. You probably would prefer to do that with Glove if the game allows you to. Maybe it doesn't, but you have other things you can do kind of for free right now.
Yeah, and that Glove, thankfully, because we have this flute, certain entrances are not going to be as orphaned if we do them now, or if we do other entrances now. But if we didn't have the flute, it would make those entrances much more contained.
And I don't believe Vex found anything particularly interesting on this path, but this is Kotose sort of equalizing these checks. Well, Vex is mostly checking the stuff Kotose did in CAC and finding the incredible amount of nothing.
Yeah, it kind of begs the question at what point. Like, it's still very early in the seed to really call anything, but it's possible that maybe our answer could be somewhere close by, maybe in Lost Woods, or it could just be South Shore.
I mean, the thing I immediately think of, and neither player's made the play yet, I expect it to come relatively soon from both of them. The game gave you a super early flute, and there's a million Light World entrances on the mountain. That could easily be why. Just you need to flute the mountain, and that's where progression is.
That's also pretty likely as well. Alright, nothing at HCAT main. We're gonna go ahead and see what is at the secret passage.
I want to say Vex already checked this.
He probably did, because he did start with he did start at Link's house.
And yeah, it's just $300. It's like, if you really feel you need it later, you keep in mind that it's there, but you're not gonna go grab it. And yeah, that potion that Kotose just picked up, apparently Vex already had it, using the sort of potion mimic clip stuff to check the right side of pod. It's a pretty standard play. Of course, what we know and Vex doesn't is that there's also just a free bow in the seed.
Yeah, so he's kind of sacking a potion here for items that Kotose otherwise is going to be able to get the legitimate way, but he's rewarded with a mirror.
I will take your word on that, and also throw out that this is actually a little more powerful than it usually is, because with Hammer you can get 2 more checks here. Well, Vex looks like he's setting up for a very uncommon bomb jump. You don't see this one very often.
Yeah, usually you see this more in like Dorando kind of seeds. But this works too.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I've never done this bomb jump. I've done the bonk setup to get across with boots. That bomb jump was a new one for me. Or at least the parts of the bomb jump I saw. I just want chat to understand that what you are seeing and not seeing on Vex is also applying to us. Like, I have no idea what that basement item was. I don't think it rendered.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are also getting the same, dare I say, 5 FPS stream from Vex, so it's a little bit hard to make out what he's getting at times. But we'll try our best. We get an Ice Rod in King's Tomb on Kotose's side, though. That's pretty nice.
The other thing Kotose saw was that Castle Tower will ultimately lead to the well, which I think that has a bit of a reputation for being bait, but I mean, 5 items is 5 items.
Yeah, that's a tough call, but obviously, if it turns out that we don't need to worry about Castle Tower, we won't need to. We did find an AT small though, so maybe it's possible.
And we're checking Sank, our last drop down. Sank is Ganon. So I believe that puts Magic Bat at Ganon, or at the pyramid.
Yes, that is correct, I think.
So Vex found a sword and presumably other things in Hype Cave. That's good. Kotose apparently never checks Southern Cac. That's a little concerning.
Yeah, that's a little unusual. I'm sure she'll come back to it later.
Yeah, like, realistically, it's not objectively wrong to do the mountain before Southern Cac in this situation, but we know it's punished because it's really more about the mirror than the sword, because the mirror would let you do the Hera entrance and then walk over to the Eastern Mountain. And hey, look,
there's another
that will
sword.
be Vex's Master Sword.
Yeah, because Vex does have that mirror.
Kotose's Master Sword too, because Kotose inevitably is going to Clear Light Mountain and probably do Southern Cac. The only other sort of realistic option for her would be to start doing some of Southern Hyrule without the glove, which maybe you do some of it. I would be surprised to see a walk to Ice Rod Cave before Southern Cac. And once you get the mirror and the sword, it's pretty obvious to just come back here.
Right, well, continuing on the mountain, I don't think finding much of anything else up here.
Yeah, so of course the mirror plus the hammer, all the items just let us get to the Eastern Mountain, but neither runner's been in a position to put it all together yet. We're gonna rescue the old man out of logic. We've already seen the old man is, what was he, at the base of East Stark Death Mountain? Not really a good spawn, but he exists.
I didn't even catch that we found the old man spawn point.
Yeah, I thought we used him as a connector on Kotose's side very early.
Oh yeah, we did. You're right, we did. I just didn't know what entrance it was.
I think the back went somewhere good, because I didn't see exactly what Kotose did from there, but I know it led to Hyrule Castle, so it must have led to another hub. We have our ever-helpful Ganon's Tower map. That way, if you hit X, you can look at the map, which... Have you ever really hit X and look at the dungeon maps in A Link to the Past? They're not very good.
Only by accident. never intentionally.
Like, I played this game a lot as a kid, and for the life of me, I couldn't understand the maps, and I couldn't really understand what Nintendo was going for. The map's a pretty helpful item if you don't know a dungeon in every other Zelda game. Not so much this one. just saw half magic, which that'll be a little bit of a fun choice to decide whether to pick it up or not when you find the third entrance of Spectacle Rock.
I would wager that would really depend on how you're feeling. I would say that, like, depending on how logic plays out, because that could be logic for Spike Cave, possibly. But more likely than not, we're probably going to be skipping that.
I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, your rational brain knows that like 99% of the time picking that up is not going to pay for itself. But it's just so nice.
Yeah, having safety is never a bad choice in this game, so...
Okay, Kotose is going to finally make the play for Southern CAC, assuming no further connectors get in her way. I mean, this trip through pod is sensible, but won't yield any fruit. VeXtopher is going through a dark cave, so we can see him even less than we normally could.
I mean, Kotose is going to get her mirror here, so...
Oh yeah, mirror was in here. We'll learn what's in the basement. I'm guessing it was nothing, but we'll learn which flavor of nothing.
Think it was money according to our trackers? Yeah.
Never underestimate the ability of this game to give you 20 bucks. The mirror will actually be pretty timely because that'll allow Kotose to just mirror out of the dungeon and then check Southern CAC for the sword.
Right.
I mean, the kind of funny thing about that is, if you really think about it, the sword is probably not immediately that important. But you obviously would still just want to have it.
Had a little bit of trouble with that mimic, but we still got it all the same.
Yeah, this is a situation that I would really like to see Kotose pick up those 2 pots you never pick up in this room for 10 more arrows. Well, I guess there's 10 arrows in that chest. That probably means you don't need anymore.
Yeah. Looks like she was setting up a death warp, and... Yeah, so now she'll be getting her sword, which is in Hype Cave.
Man, Allison trying to rail me about never picking up the pots. Like, I pick up those bomb pots all the time. How often do you really need those arrow pots? Like, really?
It really depends on my route, and like, you know, if I was going into pod, doing like the right side, and then killing the boss, and I was low on arrows, I might pick up those pots.
I mean, I feel like about 70% of the time I'm in that room, I don't even have a bow. I just used a potion to get there. Oh, VeXtopher's gonna find his way to Sahas's hut. So this is a little bit of a routing punish, but not really that bad with the flute.
Yeah, VeXtopher can recover from this route pretty easily. Although it's definitely gonna fragment a little bit of routing.
We'll get that bow, even though we're not gonna see it. I promise VeXtopher now is a bow, so that's gonna sort of equalize them on relevant progression items. Kotose is showing us the south for the first time. VeXtopher isn't showing us anything, but in theory is checking the eastern area.
Yeah, Vex is currently checking the Eastern Palace. Meaning that he's going to get this connector, this Elder House connector, over to the Mire area and realize that Swamp Palace is here. Although, actually, this is a good point, though. This is a new entrance on VeXtopher's side that we haven't seen yet. And judging by the fact that he went at it so fast, we're not going to see it. So it was probably nothing.
Like, I see VeXtopher's... Oh yeah, VeXtopher's in the Mire region with the mirror. So, yeah, I'm guessing Desert Main wasn't important. There's a couple more that can be done here. But we're gonna get to see one of our epic Poke battles here. It's not too bad with the sword and hammer here. Kotose did a pretty good setup, trapping everything down here, using the bombs to kill the floating heads. For some reason, those things are nearly unkillable with most conventional weapons, but bombs just shred them.
And it looks like we're rewarded with Sankard for our efforts. VeXtopher looks like he's also going to be going into Turtle Rock as well. So, healing right on Kotose. However, I believe VeXtopher has he's a little bit ahead in that he's done the mirror checks in the fire area, but other than that, there's not much else we can really say about him.
Yeah, Kotose, I think, has just generally cleaned up most of the rest of the world. In reality, these two players are really quite close, as you would expect in an early game. I think Kotose is ultimately going to go east on the mountain first, which is probably the most important threat to advancing the seed.
Yeah, because there's just so many entrances over there, and with that flute in play, makes, retraversing the mountain not much. Yeah, I was gonna say, Kotose, we should probably check what our 5-6 are. Turtle Rock and Mire.
This is a case where what Kotose was doing was just holding down from walking through the door, because even if it's an item cave, you almost certainly have to do that to Super Bunny it. It being Bomb Shop was just unlucky.
Reflex.
And then Bomb Shop made Kotose hesitate and not do that for C-shaped house when it would have benefited her there. Maximum punish.
Yep, so now we're gonna sequence break this through Super Bunny. Looks like we got a second try.
Big Kitty Eastern is like, if you asked me what was the single best item that could be in that cave, I might have said Big Kitty Eastern.
Yeah, I mean, that's a full clearable Eastern Palace as soon as we find it.
I mean, the big thing about that being Big Kitty Eastern, that's a bad check. And you're getting it early, and it's going to save you time for having it early. And it's very likely that Vex will not be sort of forced into that until very late in the seed. So yeah, I'd say Big Kitty Eastern would be what I'd want to see there if I made this routing decision. Because, I mean, I'm going to be real. If I were in Kotose's shoes, I wouldn't have checked West Dark Mountain at all. I would have just kept going on the Light World side to save the walk. I would have missed the Big Kitty Eastern.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you there, actually. I understand your point. Alright, so now we're going to be checking East Death Mountain for other entrances. We find the bad side of Ice Rod Cave. Maybe we'll find something a little bit better.
That's the good side of getting the good bee.
Okay. I mean, I guess you're not wrong.
Fun fact, you know those two caves are actually programmed as single entrance caves? If you somehow crossed between them and walked out, you'd still come out the same door you went in.
Yes, they're on the EG2 map, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and just their entrance type doesn't actually have an associated exit.
Kind of wacky how this game works. looks like
So,
we
yeah,
find the
laser-
dam on both sides.
Notable because we've seen Swamp Palace. We don't really have too much else for Swamp. We have a hammer, which is something, but always keep that in mind in the early game when it starts to give you pieces. Laser Bridge wasn't too exciting. We have a bottle for Sick Kid. That never happens.
Hyrule Castle key. Wonderful.
We've seen the castle. We've seen 2 of its doors are in Dark World. We don't know where the 3rd is. That would definitely be on my mind as Kotose. Now, Vex, I don't believe, has seen the castle. Granted, we wouldn't necessarily know if Vex did see the castle, but I'm pretty sure Vex hasn't followed that route. Though with the save and quit to Old Man Walk out the back, I'm presuming it's not too hard to find.
Alright, and we find out that Desert Palace is a crystal. We're going to check out the torch item, see that it's nothing, and move on, and we're going to probably go ahead and check map chest.
Yeah, then we have to make a decision. Do we go at the middle or the right door? I think most players would choose middle here. It's just faster.
Oh!
That's not surprising, but it's certainly helpful.
Yeah! I mean, bunny walking is now a thing of the past, so...
Legend of Zelda walk. The Legend of Zelda, bunny walk to the past. That is a fully vanilla right door. Wait, why are you... Have we already seen the middle door? Well, why would you not...
I'm also questioning this play.
I mean, Vex checked the middle door there. We
didn't
learn
see
where
what
it
it
goes,
was,
but Vex did check it, so I don't know. Oh, middle door was my friend the Grassman. That is totally my bad for missing that.
Oh, it's Hotel Mario?
You know in Crosskeys, if you talk to him, he apologizes for shuffling all the entrances just because he didn't want to mow his lawn.
I've never done that. That's funny.
I mean, really, I think we can agree that man is a hero to us all. Because his whole stick in the original game is he really doesn't want to mow his yard. And can't we all relate?
Relate to being lazy? I don't think I can. Ooh, that's a cane.
Kotose slashing the guy, having to pay him twice for that one cane.
Yeah, I mean, 40 rupees, I'd pay that much for a cane.
I mean, 60, but you'd still probably pay it.
Oh yeah, right, it is 30.
I mean, gee, I've gone and checked King Zora before. I pay 500 rupees for a 5 rupee.
Okay, but that's just not a good deal by default.
Hey, I'm only paying 500 rupees to learn where my progression isn't.
Right, so checking out Village of Outcasts. Ooh, Skull Back. Can't do anything here yet because we don't have a fire rod, and we do need a Skull Small in order to be able to open up that door. We're probably gonna just steal the Skull Small from the corridor, though.
It's really nice to have Skullwood so close to the rest of Skull, just because at this point you're like, I can easily steal that key whenever I'm ready to do this, and there's just no hurry.
For sure. And now we're gonna check the C-shaped house entrance. Oh wait, we already knew this was here, right?
Yeah, this must be what, well, we know this is what Kotose found with bunny walking. And,
right.
It looks like Vex has also been here, but given that Vex is doing this right now, it's pretty easy to miss what Vex is doing, but
oh my god, he got the boots. I don't know why. Okay, apparently what we should be doing is we should just be always looking at his tracker, because we're not going to understand what's going on in his feed otherwise.
Now, I'm kind of what I'd call a famous boots hater. I think it's a very overrated item, but all else being equal, I mean, you still want to have them.
I have my opinions on boots, and I'm going to reserve them outside of this broadcast. Okay, so we're gonna be checking out the ball and chain guard here.
I did spot on VeXtopher's side. It was just a 20 rupee.
Yeah, alright.
We're probably... It's a little dangerous with the Dark World status, but I mean, you have a Master Sword. I expect to see the... not really see the Dark Cross. It looks like it's a map of Hera on VeXtopher's side. Vex is actually continuing all the way to back of Sank, which is kind of a fascinating way to route it. I guess it works.
Yeah, I guess you can do this. Kotose doesn't have to do this, though, because Kotose is going to take a death. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say that Kotose already did this, but...
It looks like Vex died too. I mean, we didn't really see it play out, but... I mean, those rats are the same enemy type as grasshoppers, it's just a different skin. The grasshoppers hit pretty hard.
Okay, so we found the item side of Spec Rock. Considering it's so early in the seed, we are absolutely picking up this half magic.
Yeah, like, at this point, it's just risk mitigation for if you never get more weapons for either Cold Stare or Trinex, it actually could save you time.
Yeah, was my comment earlier, I was more referring to it being like the decently far into the seed. Like, you're not in go mode, but you're also like, you're decently well off.
Yeah, looks like Kotose is going to give us sort of a classic South Dark World loop. Vex continuing to check out Village of Outcast. Gonna work toward what I believe was a compass here in Skullwoods. Okay, see, I absolutely would not have passed up the 10 arrows with only 8 remaining. I know you gotta hold them up, but come on.
Alright, we're gonna now check race game left. I don't remember if we scouted the race game item or not. Okay. Cool.
I mean, it's really convenient.
Yeah, I mean, that it is very convenient. Because, I mean, Stumpy is right there. You can just mirror and do the shovel check right then and there.
But I am a little disappointed because definitely the funniest place to find shovel is Dig Game.
Yeah. There is some irony in using a shovel to dig up a shovel. Rather dirty shovel, though.
Oh, come on now. Now here's where I just argue with chat instead of make another remark about VeXtopher stream quality. You know walking out of the way for those pots and pod that's on the right side when you're only going on the left otherwise is more out of the way than an item that literally spawns at your feet even if you have to hold it up.
Oh my god. We're just gonna completely ignore the fact that we found another fan quest.
I mean, you could call it magic powder. You could have dug up a bag of dirt.
I mean, I guess that's true. Also, that's... I mean, if we're correct in that magic bat is behind the pyramid, we likely won't have to worry about that magic powder.
Now here we see a decision to take this heart container. It's probably not really going to impact the race too much, but a lot of players would have skipped that, I think.
I mean...
I don't think all players would skip it. I mean, well, clearly Kotose didn't skip it. I think a lot of other players would have taken it. I think a lot would have skipped it, too.
I think it really depends, because you have the mirror here. And largely when it comes to choosing to take, like, freestanding heart container or armor, has to do with... Ooh, nice silvers. Has to do with, you know, wanting to be able to death warp fast. Because you're not going to be able to death warp very quickly if you have a lot of health and a lot of mail upgrades. So in this case, I think it's fine to, grab that.
And also, nice silvers. Always really happy to see those, especially early.
Speaking of, here's GT.
So, is this chat telling me I'm supposed to be understanding our left runner's name is a Japanese word, which would be Kotose? Because I was just reading it like an English word. This is where I just straight up admit, I don't really know Japanese at all, so I could not even begin to guess what it means.
Ooh, and there's a tempered sword. And the big key to this dungeon. Wonderful.
That could make us climb. Well, right now you can't because you don't have a fire source.
Yeah.
You really don't want to without a hook shot anyway.
Yeah, because I mean, you wouldn't be able to get the validation chest, but other than that, I mean, well, 3 items and leaving one behind, not really a good idea. We will probably skip that for now and come back later when it's more convenient. And Kotose is going to have to be very careful here. That she is down bombs now, down to 2. We'll probably get lucky though and find bombs on the way.
I mean, there's a static bomb in a pot. I think there's actually might be 2 in the room before Ice Arbos, so we'll be fine. We're running low, but you have them to use them, right? And hello, big key room.
Alright, so big key to ice. We found a blue cane as well.
I think there's a big key to Hera as well.
Yep.
We have Hera. We could just go beat it whenever it's convenient.
Sure. I don't see a problem with that.
You know, if you were short exactly 1 arrow for Ice Armos and for whatever reason didn't want to pick up the arrow pots in this room, then that would be helpful.
We all joke about the single arrow. Ooh. Small key is pretty nice though.
Really increasing the power of those flippers because now it's both a glove and swamp business.
Yeah, this sequence break has worked out really well for Kotose.
The other sort of important thing to learn here is that unless you're forced into right side, you know, you get like a bunch of small keys and the fire rod. You're kind of thinking, odds are that Swamp Small is behind a hook shot, which means you don't go into Swamp until you're ready to full clear it.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. I mean, we're just doing tile room. This isn't really that bad to do right now.
I actually think it would be... I mean, it's not unthinkable, but it would be what I would call pretty bold to skip tile room in this circumstance.
Small key to this dungeon.
Which is kind of what you didn't want to see, but it's what we did see.
Now. Yeah.
That's a fully vanilla chest.
Yeah.
And looks like Vex is kind of back. Vex has found GT as well.
Our sincere condolences to our tracker Blankforge, who has to deal with this freezing stream on his end.
I want everyone to understand that Vex actually has good internet. His SNES just performs this badly, and he's a really, really good player.
I can also confer with that.
Kotose going for a splash deletion here. Bit of an interesting routing decision when you...
Oh, there we go.
When you could have instead just hammered north. It almost looked like she wanted to mirror there, though that doesn't work off a fake flipper.
Right. I'm not quite sure what she's trying to do, actually. She's kind of like all there and she's out.
I think she really just didn't understand why she couldn't walk there. Now, this doesn't come up often at all, but to explain the game mechanics, when you're in a fake flipper state, you swim over shallow water. You exit that state if you go over solid ground, but then you would just be stuck walking on the ice, which is what we might call counterproductive. The only way you can get that check without the actual flippers is to set up a water walk, which we haven't. I mean, we actually did find the good bee cave. You could set it up from there and do the walk over.
Hey, there's Hotel Mario.
Also, good awareness from Kotose there, seeing the mushroom and realizing I've already seen Potion Shop. I wouldn't turn it in before checking this anyway. It's faster to check on my way back down. Or faster to grab on my way back down. It might seem like a small thing, but like when you're thinking about a competitive race, like everyone's going to kind of go do all the checks, etc. Doing them more efficiently is what gets you the edge. So little decisions like that really do add up. Also, nice hook shot.
Nice small key and a GT small, so that's all 4 GT smalls. And back to the Dark World we go. Except we're gonna mirror bonk.
We now are 3 for 3 on picking up Fetch Quest. We will not find any more Fetch Quest for the rest of the seed, unless you consider Hera Small a Fetch Quest, which it kind of is.
Oh, you don't consider Skull was a Fetch Quest?
Yeah, and I mean, you could also talk about the very long fetch quest that is Swamp Big Chest. I mean, there's a lot of problems, right?
All right, checking the pod area.
Of course, we know we don't have to check pod proper, but we can check the rest of it. We learned Thieves with our green pendant. That's one I'm generally happy to see as green pendant. Not like over the moon thrilled, but I'm satisfied with that one.
Would you elaborate?
I mean, it's not as good as getting like Meyer as the green pendant, which is like the best outcome, but it's a lot better than getting like Hera as the green pendant.
Yeah, I mean, Thieves is, like, otherwise, like, you know, it's a pretty accessible dungeon. You only really need the Thieves Big to clear it, and then, of course, you need a melee weapon of some sort to be able to kill blind.
Fun fact, we're actually in good water walk caves for both of them. Kotose, why? I mean, I guess if you want to take the right door out of the castle, this makes sense. I would just have a hard time walking to pod when I already know what it is and I know I don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious about what the intention here is, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd understand this if you were mirroring and, like, going back to the Mire area.
Oh, we're doing a second shot at Dark Cross.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because now it's in logic.
Yeah, I mean, with the lamp, the tempered sword, the boots, like, who cares if it's Dark World? This is now easy.
Yeah. And I imagine that after this, we're probably going to be getting the mirror and then going back into the Mire area. Yes, so she's going to get her Hera map. And we're still...
Yep, we're checking the right door. We haven't seen this yet, so it makes sense.
Sure. I don't see this as a bad idea.
Vex picked up the lamp so he can see, but that doesn't mean we can see what he's doing.
That's just going to be the recurring gag of this restream, isn't it?
You can laugh or you can cry. Okay, Kotose nearly turned around and went the other way, but decided, hey, you know what's in logic? Crystal Roller Room.
Also a very sensible play. I mean, you're literally right here. I don't see a reason why.
Like, it's a slow single, but it's also going to be a really, really slow and isolated single if you don't do it now, so I totally agree with the decision.
Oh, don't worry, Blankforge. I empathize with you.
I don't know, there's kind of upsides to Blankforge's position. Like, have you considered that no matter how bad of a job Blankforge does, no one will ever blame him for how it turns out?
I mean, when have we ever blamed the trackers for anything wrong?
Have you met Twitch chat?
I'm not talking about Twitch chat, I'm talking about the trackers.
No, I'm saying, like, they blame the trackers for missing things all the time. But in this circumstance, I mean, Blackforge could never mark anything again and they'd just be empathetic, right?
Zaru, I see that comment. No.
Yeah,
and yes, we only blame
while we've been
Sabotage.
kind of joking about VeXtopher's tragic internet situation, what little we saw of VeXtopher suggested he did some type of water walk setup, I don't know what type, and got that glove. And that's pretty significant because Kotose just went back to the Mire region without being able to check the checkerboard cave entrance, which is a real efficiency loss. VeXtopher back in Hera, sees a pendant, gonna beat it anyway. I mean, you're realistically going to beat Hera every seed anyway, right?
Turn in that mushroom now. We did see where Potion Shop was, so I believe we'll be seeing that check very shortly. See, Talmadge gets it. Talmadge gets it.
Wasn't Hera just in CAC? It's a little surprising to see Kotose not go in there.
Yes.
We know it's a pendant, and I mean, we really don't know what Vex found, but I'm just assuming it wasn't important.
Based on his tracker, I don't think we've seen anything super substantial.
Hey, look, another door to Turtle Rock. We're at 3 of 4. See, now that big chest is a proper fetch quest. That's going to be really annoying to go back for later.
Paradox Cave.
Well, apparently I just totally missed wherever the front door in Turtle Rock is, but I always like to just claim things and see if I'm wrong, give Chad a chance to correct me. It's good fun for everyone. Hey, look,
Fire
it's a fire
rod.
rod.
Nice.
So, we're doing really well in terms of major items. But at this point, we really just want to see a bunch of keys.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, we're getting all the things, like, in terms of item progression, but we're not getting, we're kind of short in the key department here.
The funny thing is that the main major item we don't have is the flippers, and the one big dungeon we'd really like to do and have everything else for is Swamp.
Yeah, I was gonna say Swamp sounds like an immediate target that we would like to do, but we can't.
Of course, kind of a big deal here is that Ice is a very tempting dungeon, but only from Vex's side, where you have the glove. Now, of course, we notice, I don't know why it is this way, Vex's tracker doesn't seem to suggest he's found many dungeons. I guess he's just not finding the dungeons, right?
I mean, he could be not marking them off. That's possible.
I mean, I can't imagine our tracker isn't faithfully recording everything Vex is doing at every moment.
I mean, have you ever tried to track a restream and keep track of entrances at the same time? It's absolutely painful.
I mean, it's just the running joke, you know, with the slideshow.
Yeah.
It's obviously impossible to mark what dungeons he's found. Apparently Vex has a gold sword, which I'm guessing it was in Skullwoods.
Yeah, it was. It was in the, I believe it was in the map chest.
So there's a real chance Kotose has gold sword silvers before clearing a single dungeon. That's just kind of comfy.
Yeah, that does put this game on easy street at this point. Because I mean, with all the offensive damage you have, like, you don't really need to worry about major safeties like health or like anything of that sort, because, I mean, you're already a glass cannon at that point. No gloves, so we have to use the hammer to progress here.
If we wanted to take the scenic route, we could have chosen flippers that we don't have, but we can do splash delete. As I catch my mistake and then immediately offer an alternative that's even more asinine. So, Kotose is really struggling with this whole I've seen a glove but don't have a glove thing.
Yeah.
I think that's the third time she's tried to pick up a rock and just discovered she can't lift. But yeah, now Kotose is making the play on Hera. Very sensible. Hasn't even checked the first floor, which is a small key to something. Oh yeah, Castle
Yeah,
Tower.
it's the Agate Tower small key.
Vex gets his first crystal, always good to have. Skull is definitely one of those more trivial ones to find, or to do, I should say, but why not, right? So we often forget how a lot of randos' quality of life really plays out. Do you remember what fighting Moth with the gold sword is like in vanilla?
It sucks because you can only damage Moth pokes.
Yeah, and the fun thing is, like, it's entirely possible to create that situation in vanilla. Because Crystal 3 isn't checked for at any point before going to Ganon's Tower. You just grab the fire rod and leave.
Yeah, and you get into the rather humorous situation of just, oh yeah, you have the gold sword, but for some reason you just can't damage Moth.
I say grab the fire rod and leave. You don't even need the fire rod to get gold sword in vanilla. You can just use Bombos for Ice Palace and the lamp in Misery Mire, but either way. Funny little programming quirks all revolving around them trying to make Moth immune to the spikes in its own room. They didn't really program Moth very well.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because when I talk to casual players about this game, they always say Moldorm is like the bane of their existence. And then I talk to other runners who say Moth is annoying at the fight. Some say blind if they don't know the script. It's all very interesting. What's difficult and what's not, depending on who plays the game.
I mean, I think Moldorm, Moth, and Blind are the fights most inexperienced players are most likely to have difficulty with. Moldorm because it can potentially take forever if you just keep getting knocked down. Moth and Blind are probably just the straightforwardly hardest fights on a first playthrough. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say they thought Vitreous was a hard boss.
Yeah, Vitreous isn't, unless you fight Vidi with Master Sword, or, not going to Ice Palace before doing Mire, then it can be a bit of a challenging fight if you're inexperienced, but if you have Temper Sword, you're fine. You can just stand there and just slash at the puffs, or at the eyeballs, and they will all just die. remember if VeXtopher checked this or not. Oh, well, probably
That's a really relevant find.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, Meyer is one of the big keys we don't have, but this is still 6 checks.
Yeah, you might as well just do this now.
Oh, the funny thing is, it's easy to look at this as a bad outcome for Vex, but if these 6 checks are nothing important, and Vex is going to find this by the end, it could be one of those blessings in disguise to not find this until you have the Meyer big. It is also just generally unfortunate to find Meyer with no small keys. Like, in the Skullwood slot, there's no way you could justify not doing it anyway, but it's just a little unfortunate.
Those are small.
Hey, that's like a double fetch quest. It's like a fetch quest, but you get 2 things instead of 1.
I could reasonably justify going back to Desert Raid, even if it's fine, even if there to be a fetch quest for it.
Oh, you totally do it. I mean, it's 2 items, right?
Listen, cross saves. When you think about it, every check in this game is a fetch quest, right? At least by Ambros's logic.
Well, what we're learning now is so far, Meyer's not too exciting unless that Desert Small ends up being pretty good. We're going to see the cutscene chest, and we have one more check on the right side that's the main reason you're sad you didn't have a small key when you entered, because it's way out of the way. But so far, so dull.
Yeah, we're not really seeing anything that's immediately helpful to us. I would have expected to find maybe one thing that would have been nice or lead us in the right direction. But yeah, all we really have is just that desert small key to show for it.
Now, it is worth noting that it's very unsurprising those 2 left chests were bad. We haven't seen a single Meyer key yet. I don't think in Kotose's position you could really justify skipping those checks, but you're not surprised when they just turn up junk.
Yep, and we don't have a small key here, so we have to actually take the big chest route just to get to this other chest. Yeah, Meyer was just a disappointment.
I mean, we have one item that could be framed as delayed disappointment. That's something, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think we were looking for something more immediately gratifying, though, and the Desert Small Key simply isn't it.
So Kotose chose to check drop-downs, see if she can get lucky and save the Skull Small Key. Got the most time-wasting drop-down. Not really a direct punish in terms of the key. Your main question is, are you going to find the drop into the pinball room before you find the drop onto the left side?
Yeah, because I mean, if you find the pinball drop, then you know you have to save and quit out there if you want to save the key. Fortunately, we find that he's not happy.
I mean, the thing here is, well, you actually have, what you could do as Kotose, because you're at the end of your route anyway, and you've already seen the other 3 drops, is walk out, do the other 2 checks, and just save and quit.
Yeah.
very unlucky to end up checking all 4 drops. It's just... Yeah, you're hedging against the Skull Smalls being terrible to find. Most players would not do this, but you can. And yeah, you also could have just walked in the front door in the first place and opened the left door and done all 3 and then hit the mirror button. But Kotose was just gambling that she would find the good drop before the bad drop and did not win.
Yeah, but apparently this is not the end of her route. We're going to be continuing onwards, probably. Yeah, we're going to check this.
So Vex made the play toward that eastern big key from earlier. We're not going to see Vex get it, but he was moving south on West Dark Death Mountain. That means he has the eastern big key, right?
We'll see what his tracker says with the stream updates. Yeah, and here's Skull Woods. For Kotose, we're going to take a Death Warp, because doing Moth on 2.5 hearts is stupid.
You say stupid, I say thrilling. Like, you could frame it as inverted practice, right?
I guess that's one positive way to look at it.
Besides, Kotose's got to do it on 4 hearts anyway.
So it's just as bad. It's Gold Sword though. So I wouldn't say, wow, that was fast.
Okay, Vex is in Ice Palace. Well, we might not get a good view of what's in here, but this is a very sensible play from Vex's position, and I actually think this could be a major sort of turning point in the race. If the other glove is in Ice Palace, or something gating it, that's going to make Vex's Water Walk really powerful. On Kotose's side, we're going to check right side GT. This is very sensible. I actually would not be surprised at all if this does not give clear direction for Kotose to climb here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you do this and then immediately after you're just gonna climb.
I mean, what I would be doing as a player here is I would come in here with this sort of mindset of I'm going to see what I find, and if it's nothing that tells me to go somewhere else, I'm going to climb. If it's something that tells me to go somewhere else, I'm going to go do that.
VeXtopher did not do this, so we're going to be seeing some new checks here.
Skull Small feels like a slap in the face.
Turtle Rock. Oh my gosh, that's our first TR support. At least on Kotose's side. We're not climbing, apparently.
That's surprising, because I would not frame either of those items as direction.
Yeah, nah. I would say you just climb here. Because, I mean, you get Magic Bat out of this as well. And not only that, but it's in logic as well.
So Going in ice without a glove. I really don't see this over climb, but it's what we're gonna do. Now, we didn't really see what the items in here were on Vex's side, but kind of looking over at the tracker, I don't think there was anything of obvious great significance.
Where did Vex get a glove?
Vex water walked to get the glove on the island.
Ah, yes, okay. Yeah, that's probably a very good move on his part. Because wherever this other glove could be, that's going to be our actual glove, assuming we don't find flippers. Could be in a very...
apparently Meyer Big Key was in here somewhere.
Okay. Well, that's a dungeon that VeXtopher hasn't found that he will be able to full clear.
I mean, that's actually kind of a big deal. Like I said, it could have easily been a blessing in disguise for Vex just not finding Meyer early, because there's really nothing that important in there, and now when Vex finds it, it'll just be a full clear.
So this is actually a huge problem. So the fact that Kotose doesn't have a glove here means that she's actually skipping that Meyer Big Key, because it's in the compass chest. And there's no knowing when she's going to come back from that.
I mean, she'll come back as soon as she has a glove because it's a crystal, but you don't get this time back, so it's still unfortunate all around.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to get that eventually, because, I mean, again, what you're going to do when you just come back in is you're just going to icebreaker, you know, your way through. You know, go ahead and kill the boss, and you're going to get that key. But I think that right now, what we're really seeing here is I think it's very likely that we're going to have flippers just be straight up on the climb more than anything. Because right now, we don't really have a lot of direction on where to go at this point.
Yeah, we could follow that book that was in ice, but that just feels really bad to do. Like, climb is definitely sort of the mathematical play. Vex found Thieves Town at the shopping mall. Kotose will too, was not under the rock. But, like, this whole area is flippers locked. This is probably not what you're meant to do.
Yeah, I mean, when you're considering the logic, you know, I mean, if you have the Thieves' Big Key here, then I would say it makes sense, you know, get this, you know, get these front 4 checks and then go ahead and do the back. But for right now, like, yeah, I would, you know, probably be more akin to following logic right now and just be like, well, this is what I have so far, you know, clearly I'm supposed to be doing this later, so maybe I should just focus on what I have available now.
That was Kotose's 4th pod small, so going back to pod has to be a pretty tempting play. You have that whole back area, and for all you know, the climb's for another pod small, right? So under the rock was Blind's basement. So far, just 2 small keys down here. I think TR and Ice. So, unfortunate to not get this for Kotose, but those are pretty easy items to live without. Oh, Kotose probably would have killed for that to be Vanilla Ice Rod Cave, right?
Yeah, probably.
Just because it's a water walk room.
Yeah, the fact that Kotose does not have this glove is going to start to hinder her a little bit. And it's simply just because, you know, like, there's nothing else really around here that well.
Yeah, it's worth kind of pointing out the situation with this glove. Like, what you have to do to get this glove, it's not what I would call like a super hard trick, but it's a trick that's realistically this important in like 1 out of 1,000 seeds, and this is just the one. So, like, I don't necessarily blame runners for not thinking about this trick or looking for the setups for it, etc., because this is kind of an obscure scenario. Looks like we're going to check the Ether Monolith and the Catfish. Catfish is definitely not what the game wants from us. Ether could be, but wasn't.
I mean, I'm kind of running out of ideas right now.
Oh no, don't do it, Kotose, don't do it, no!
Okay, good. Yeah, I was gonna say, you do not have a glove. I've done that so many times where I go into Spike Cave thinking like, oh yeah, I can do this, and later realize, oh wait, there's a rock there.
Okay, Kotose back in Desert. Gonna check Desert right. That is the 2 new checks. We have not seen this yet.
Yeah, so maybe this could be something here. To a comment in chat, there is a glove on Lake Hylia Island, but we believe that logically that's probably going to be missed unless flippers show up. So everything that Vex is doing right now, he got that glove out of logic, and so everything he's doing that is glove locked is out of logic, to our knowledge.
Now, it wouldn't be that surprising if flippers were the next major progression item in news. The flippers also lead to that glove and lead you into Swamp, which probably has a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's probably our best idea at this point.
Yeah, back into Pod is another sensible play. I believe that's where Vex is going, yeah. So, there's a lot in Pod we can do as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 4 keys, so... yeah, VeXtopher
Going to TR is a good play from Kotose. These are also just totally available checks. I actually think one of our pod keys is out of logic, if I recall. So, because it was in Thieves. So this back area is not in logic with what we've seen, but you're going to do it anyway.
Right.
Hey look, a pod key in pod, which, funny thing, is actually kind of relevant to see here, because now you know there's only one more pod key in the world. So it's a lot more likely that the one in Thieves behind Flippers is going to be critical to get in here.
Very interesting. Hey look, blue mail. Yeah, I was gonna say this is also the wrong blue item. We kind of want something more web-shaped that maybe allows it to swim in water. And yeah, Kotose is gonna be following suit right here and just going into pod as well.
I mean, it's very hard to resist this play here. It doesn't look like anything super critical came out of here. You got another pod small, so you can check the vanilla big key chest. So at least you know you've done everything here that's not big key locked.
Nothing in vanilla big key chest.
Yeah. I think we're actually down between both runners to either Bamos Monolith or the climb.
I think that, based on what we know, I think the climb is way more likely to be our progression at this point.
I mean, it's a 5-6 chance, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go by density theory, then climb is not a bad idea to go here.
And yeah, you also have literally everything you need to complete it, including the logic all 4 GT small keys. The game is surely trying to tell you something, right?
Yeah, and we've had these 4 GT smalls for a while, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is actually our answer.
I actually think a lot of this is the pressure of an elimination race, because if you're these runners, like, these runners aren't dumb. Like, they know the climb is really likely, but you also know, realistically, if you climb for nothing and your opponent doesn't, it's extremely likely you lose the race. And that's a tournament elimination, so I understand the hesitation psychologically.
Yeah, same. It's just unfortunate that, you know, all these plays, while they're good plays and they have good logical rationale behind them, they're just not the answer that the game is looking for.
Now, I don't think we've seen this connector Kotose is using. Hey, look, it's Magic Bat, so it must not be Magic Bat behind the pyramid.
Thanks, I didn't see what item that was.
The 6 pod key, which is logically available, so the sequence break doesn't matter, but it also, like, really doesn't matter. Apparently, mitts are on Magic Bats, so that's kind of a big deal.
It's the Thieves drop down on behind the GT climb.
Thanks, Tom will touch.
Well, the reason I say the Thieves Town small doesn't matter is because you can get we now know you can get 4 in logic, because that one on that ledge is in logic. So you can reach the back basement. There's really nothing relevant at all behind 6. It was just junk items.
Don't say also not happy with that glove.
So Kotose probably with that goes straight back to ice. It's just the play, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then gets the Mire big and goes straight back to Mire. Probably doesn't find progression in either location, but maybe does. And we see what happens from there. Or I guess checking glove entrances. This is also sensible. I believe we know this will not bear fruit. Like, it's cool to know this is where Castle Tower is, but I'm pretty sure these are both bad items.
Yeah, I don't believe we've seen this on VeXtopher's side. Oh wait, no, we have.
Clear, we haven't seen anything on Vex's side this whole race.
I knew that was coming. Yeah, so VeXtopher did these checks, we just didn't see what they were.
A TR small, that makes sense. Vex had that Turtle Rock small for a long time, and we had no clue where it came from. It was there, apparently. I don't understand.
I'm also very confused at this play.
Like, this isn't, like, a strategic decision I don't understand. Like, I don't actually understand the goal of this play.
Yeah, because she doesn't have... She's about to go into the door and realize she doesn't have the other key.
Yeah, like, I think climbing Aga Tower would be very justifiable in this circumstance if, you know, you had the key.
Yeah, honestly, I think Tilt is kind of getting to her at this point, because, I mean, she had an idea about getting that glove, on Lake Hylia Island. Idea didn't work, and then she just got slapped in the face with another glove that was pretty accessible for a while.
I think it's worth kind of noting, like, obviously Kotose has no clue how Vex is doing. I mean, to be honest, we barely have a clue how Vex is doing. But Kotose is far from out of this race. Like, Vex has a lead, has a second glove in hand, has already killed Moth and Cold. Those are objective advantages, but I don't think they're decisive.
Yeah, there's definitely ways for Kotose to overtake Vex and get the lead here.
Notably, Kotose knows where Meyer is, and has done most of it already. Going to ice is kind of an obvious... Well, it's an obvious play if you knew it was a crystal. Kotose doesn't know ice is not the third pendant.
Shovel was not on dig game. The shovel was... It was around that area.
Yeah.
It was
Race
Bonk
game
Rocks.
door,
Yeah.
which was the Bonk Rocks cave, and then shovel led to powder.
Yeah.
And between both runners, I do not believe we've seen the eastern entrance, so that's quickly running out of places to be.
Spiral cave.
Yeah, there's no way you don't do this. You're kind of at the end of a route anyway, and the world is thin. We are going to have Spike Cave checked. Oh, it's a 50 rupee. I saw that.
Right, so we're off to now, Kotose.
We're off to the flute.
I've definitely had one of those moments. Okay, so we're gonna go for Dark World.
This could be climb, this could be ice. Both would make sense. Could also be the Bombos monolith.
Looks like it is going to be Bombo's tablet. And I don't believe we've seen this on Vex's side. No, we actually have. Haven't we? I don't know. Part of his tracker is cut off. Yeah, it's nothing.
Now we're going back to our portal, so that might have just been check the Bombos location and then climb. That would be sensible.
Yeah, I gotta think, like, so it really depends. Does Kotose think that she's behind right now? Because
okay, no, we're heading north away from GT. This could be the play for ice.
Yeah, ice makes sense.
Now, it's a gamble either way. No, we're going to Catfish, which is not going to pay off, but Catfish to Zora is rational. The thing is, the big picture thing you're looking at for Kotose feels like a big gamble either way. You feel behind, you don't even know ice is a crystal. Like, how bad would it feel to go back into ice, get nothing from the 2 checks, and get the red pin? I mean, that's like a dot forfeit level of fail right there, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, you can kind of get the subtle hints from Kotose's play that Kotose definitely feels like that glove find was devastating. Now, the reality is that as much as we're not seeing what Vex is doing, I think we're picking up enough hints that Vex is not finding a ton of interesting things in all these checks he's doing. Yeah, I don't think we'd seen the water... Oh, I guess we had. Yeah, Vex has done Mimic Cave. I don't think it was relevant.
I believe you're correct. I think this was, yeah, just an irrelevant item.
So there was definitely an entrance on that island. And then the chicken house on the Dark World side. Oh, Vex has flippers. That's a
no,
really
he doesn't.
big deal. Oh. It was marked briefly. Okay, so... Vex did a lot of swimming without flippers, which is a thing you can do in this game. It's just how the game works. Oh no, Kotose... Yeah, just jumped back on land. I was like, is there a way to carry this water walk all the way? There's just no way to actually get over to the Hylia Island, right?
Well, yeah, but do you lose your water walk if you go back in the portal?
I've never tried it, but I don't think so.
I'm sure someone has tested it. I was referring to mirror portals, not whirlpools. I know you keep them through whirlpools.
Vex is finding Mire here. We know we only got a Desert Small that wasn't meaningful out of the 6 non-big keylock chests. We don't know what's in the 2 big keylock chests. We do know this is a crystal dungeon. Apparently, the Eastern that has not shown up at all is our last pendant. That could easily be in GT.
Yeah, so hopefully that's just a dungeon we just never have to worry about.
Now, when you get this late in the run, hopefully becomes kind of a funny way to put it almost, because it kind of depends on who you're rooting for, right? Like a Eastern Palace-themed adventure for nothing from Vex would be really good to see if you're rooting for Kotose.
And what would be the opposite side of that coin there? If you wanted Vex to win, what would you want to see from Kotose? Or what would you want to see from Vex?
If you want Vex to win, you basically want the seed to just follow from here. Because Vex has a linear progression advantage. Like if Vitreous drops the TR big and Trinex drops the Desert big and, you know, just everything kind of comes together. You're like, Vex is just gonna win if there's no further wrinkles, right?
Yeah, because I mean, there's not much else you would have to go out of the way for.
But it's pretty likely there will be further wrinkles, just because none of sort of the remaining big dungeons have that many checks remaining, right?
Yeah. Kotose did kill Moth. It's just not marked on her tracker. So we'll see if Tom will get that tracked.
You know, that is actually kind of a big deal in terms of the horse race, because that means that Kotose is effectively down the overworld trip to Mire, right?
was a very clean ult there.
And surely in this situation, knowing it's a crystal, Kotose goes straight back to Meyer. It's just very hard to see any other decision.
Yeah.
Looks like Kotose is going back to Meyer in a different sense. Gonna check the checkerboard entrance, which makes sense, but is probably not. I don't think it was important on Vex's side.
So we just found flippers in Meyer Big Chest.
Which, yeah, if you were rooting for Vex, that's exactly what you wanted to see, because if Swamp just has everything, that's just... I mean, there's still room for something to go wrong because the advantage isn't that big, but certainly the person who's ahead on linear progression would really like that.
Yeah, so I feel like if you're looking for Kotose doing, you're looking for something to be on the climb, and that Kotose guns for the climb, and that VeXtopher just says nothing's going to be there.
Now, if Kotose feels really behind, climbing right now would be a decision that could make sense. Like, you can clear Meyer, but you don't have the Skull Big Key. Maybe you're just... I mean, I see Kotose's heading there, so that's not what's going to happen, but there would be a sort of thread of logic of putting this off, just heading toward the density, even though it's slow and not guaranteed to be required.
Alright, and now we're going to go back into Meyer here. So, yeah, this is just going to be a very quick cleanup for Kotose.
So, from what little I could see of Vex's fight, it was pretty quick. Looked like Gold Sword spins. I believe the fastest way with literally every item in the game to fight Vitreous is boots plus cape plus gold sword dashing back and forth, but it doesn't matter that much, really.
Yeah, I think that would probably be, that's probably fast, and it's also a very safe way of fighting Kitty.
Apparently our tracker is better than I am because we apparently saw that Pet is rupees. I saw the Vex checked Pet. I didn't see what it was.
Same.
And Kotose, again, just... You can see the tilt, just going to that door and not having the key. You have to do the left route in Meyer because you somehow have not found a Meyer small key this whole scene.
Yeah, that's actually kind of impressive, I'm not gonna lie, because you would have probably expected to have found at least 2 Meyer Smalls by this point. So to not have any is actually very unusual.
The 2 pre-Hammerlock chests in Swamp were nothing. Not that Hammer is a logically relevant item this seed, given that it's in Link's house. Yeah, missing 3 big keys for go mode. Surely you just go straight to left side here. Looks like what Vex is doing. Yeah, we're getting a pure silver stripe fight from Kotose. Also very, very fast.
Did bleed a few arrows there at the end, but still got him down all the same.
Yeah, arrow count when you have silvers is not usually that important.
Yeah, we only really care about keeping 4 arrows at the end, so that way we have enough arrows to kill Ganon.
So we're about to have left swamp checked. Whether we see it or not is an open question. A small key to something that looks like it was Meyer, if I read the tracker right.
Yeah, that was a Meyer Small.
And then we have a chest with an item in it in the vanilla big key spot.
I did not see what it was.
I'm pretty sure it was an item for The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Thanks, that's very helpful.
And I'm going to assume the item was not very helpful, given that no one said anything.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything. It was more fault. It was more fault. This is now surprise SMZ3
So
with entrance.
Big key. It looks like the skull.
Yes.
So, Skull Big is literally the only big key you could see there and not be happy with.
Yep, because, I mean, it's just a fetch quest for a single item.
Like, even if it'd been the Swamp Big, at least it's convenient. All the others you need, well, I guess you don't need the Thieves one, but it opens for 5 checks. Skull's just the eye roll one.
Yeah, we would certainly like to have seen better big keys there. Like TR would have been great. Basically, like, Thieves would have been bad, but it wouldn't have been as bad as Skull.
So it's also worth noting, Swamp was... I mean, unless Argus drops the goods, Swamp didn't really have much. And this is where you start to ask, where are the remaining 3 required big keys? Is Eastern just somewhere bad? How many bad places are even left for it to be? Like, I don't know, there's that Meyer entrance that's still there. We need Quake. Or is it some really silly chain with all the bosses? Or is just everything on clock?
Small key to Meyer. There were 2 Meyer Smalls in Swamp.
Another sort of important thing to remember is that the well is behind Castle Tower here. And that being required, if I'm playing the seed right now, I'm thinking is very likely.
Magic Bat is already checked. That was where our first glove was.
And we now know that, by logic, that had to be the first glove, because the Meyer Big leading to the flippers was behind the glove. And yeah, we're missing a Castle Tower Small, but it has to be somewhere, and there's not a whole lot of somewheres left in this world.
Yeah, so Kotose's gonna go over here, and she's gonna get her whole load of nothing.
And Vex is climbing.
Yeah,
which
this
I
makes sense.
think is a very rational decision here. But this is one of the angles that Vex can get back in this race. If the climb is nothing, which I think is pretty likely it's something, but if it's nothing and like Smith Chain just opens all the remaining stuff.
Yeah, that might be the only out that Kotose has.
I mean, I think there's still a couple vectors for outs to happen. Because like I said, the second Castle Tower small key is somewhere in the world. We don't know where that is, but we're running out of places it could be. It's pretty likely one of our 3 big keys is in that well. So there's definitely an angle where Kotose makes that play earlier, and that ends up being the goods. You know, sort of a late game comeback, right?
Yeah, because I mean, at this point, like, Kotose wants divergence. Because anything that, you know, can lead her away from, you know, staying on Vex's trail is ultimately something that could lead to something good.
Yeah, I do think it's just worth noting, though, like, Vex is mostly strictly ahead here, but it's not that much. Like, one major play that pays out for one but not the other can still equalize this. Or if it's in Vex's favor, just turn it into a stomp, but that's what you're hoping for if you're on Team Vex, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm just gonna go out and say, unless you're like Vex's personal friend, if you've been watching this stream for almost 2 hours, you're like definitely rooting for Kotose because she has much better internet, right?
Our apologies to VeXtopher once you watch this back. We've been ragging on your stream basically the entire time.
So I'm going to assume there's actually just a temporary issue on Vex's side. That his stream is probably usually not like this. But, you know, ISPs are monopolies in most areas, and sometimes they're just bad, right?
We found CT2.
We found a big key that's probably important, not seeing which one quickly. Thieves, that's a thrilling one. And a 4th chest of something.
Maybe the restream will actually show us in time, and it doesn't.
Doesn't look like it was any of the important big keys. So, unless Aga 2 leads to a critical item here, we got a choice for Vex. Do you climb Castle Tower for 5 items, or clear Green Pendant Thieves for 5 items?
5 versus 5, and both take, I mean, there's not too much of a time difference between the two. And yes, you could do both.
The answer being you have to do both in the end anyway is pretty likely. And if you're going to have to do both, I think Thieves first is better. But one or the other, that's a call that can really go either way.
Yeah, I would definitely say that following the CT key is definitely a good idea.
I mean, I think you've also found the Thieves' big key up there, so I really think it's a truly equivalent choice, right?
Yeah. It's just, which do you think is more likely?
I think if Kotose stops doing everything else and climbs right now and picks right between the two, like Vex is doing the Castle Tower climb. I think if Kotose climbs GT right now and rushes Thieves after, it's close. Honestly, Vex is probably still ahead there, but it's close, you know? That's assuming that the well has absolutely nothing. It's... With 3 big keys missing, I think it's real likely that both are required, right?
Yeah. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of entrances left at this point, so...
And yeah, Kotose going around and checking entrances is definitely painful because at this point, we know that Eastern is either in the Mire entrance, I don't think we've seen Hammer Pegs, or in the GT entrance.
Eastern is not in the Mire entrance, I believe Oh wait, no, never mind, we have not seen that.
Yeah, that requires Quake. So we can't have seen that. I don't think anyone's done Hammer Pegs. Probably planning to combo with the Smith Chain, we might never do. And, of course, the GT entrance always exists. And it could just be Eastern, and then Eastern effectively doesn't exist in this seed.
There's a lot of possibilities there. And I mean, I don't imagine you check entrances looking for Eastern thinking like that's going to be your out. That just sounds like a waste of time.
So Kotose taking this connector tells me that she's either planning to do Skullwood's Big Chest or Smith Chain, both of which are new checks.
Yeah, and it looks like we're doing Smith Chain first.
It makes sense, because especially it'll combo with checking one of the few remaining entrances. Kotose is probably hoping to find Eastern and assuming a difficult-to-find Easterners are out, which, in all honesty, is probably close to correct.
Yeah, if she could find Eastern, that might be a key to getting her off of Vex's tail and getting her onto doing some checks of her own to try and get back in this.
It's kind of tough, though, because even if Eastern has a required item, Kotose at this point is really, like, needing the well not to have a required item, too. If the seed requires effectively a full clear, then advantage Vex heavily. And yeah, that's not Eastern, so at this point, Eastern's either in the Mire entrance or the GT entrance. And in order for it to be in the Mire entrance, we have to find Quake. Well, I mean, I guess we don't have to find it. Quake could be in the GT entrance, but in order for it to be relevantly useful for Kotose, Quake has to show up.
Right, so purple chest here for Kotose. And we've got nothing worth our time.
So that hurts.
Yeah.
Looks like Kotose is gonna climb now. Which makes sense from Kotose's perspective, but most probably represents a race loss at this point. Vex has already found one Zelda item in Well. We don't know what it is, but I don't think it was one of the big keys we need. Second chest content. A blue boomerang and a teleport out of the well. There was a pod big key in there somewhere.
Yeah, there was definitely a pod big.
And yeah, unsurprisingly, Vex takes the pod big and goes to Crystal Pod. It's
Yeah, I mean,
right?
why would you not do that?
Your only real decision is, do you check the big chest before the boss? And you probably do, but even if you don't, it's not that big of a deal. Like, this routing is perfectly fine doing the boss first. Apparently the small key we found in Well was the Hera small key. I think most runners small key.
Yeah, that's kind of gross.
Of note, neither player to my knowledge has done Skullwood's big chest, which is similar as a check, but much faster.
Yeah, that's also another option that Kotose has. Either way, we do know that Aga Tower is an answer that Kotose needs to go through.
Which is pretty tough at this point. Because we're starting to reach the point where Vex can full clear the seed faster than Kotose can do all the things we already know she has to do. Like, I don't know that we're fully there yet, but we're pretty close.
Yeah, it does seem like the chance is sort of dwindling for Kotose.
It's only 20 rupees on Helmasaur King, so we don't have a true big keychain, but we still have a big chest in that dungeon. It could be anything.
I mean, at this point, like, yeah, almost all of Kotose's routing has been chasing VeXtopher. So, like, her chances of, being able to, like, really try and get out ahead of VeXtopher, they're dwindling, and dwindling very fast.
And if this scene kind of continues at this pace, I think we have to say that the water walk to that glove was just a hugely decisive factor here.
Yeah, I think that was the big ticket here for VeXtopher. Just getting that water walk there to get that glove early. So he was able to just do checks in a more efficient manner than Kotose ever could.
Though, even if you don't do the water walk from Kotose's side, if after doing right side GT she just climbed, I do think this would be a very different race.
Yes, I would absolutely agree there.
Yeah, Vex is doing Smith Chain, which we know isn't going to be fruitful, but it's giving a little time back to Kotose. So, again, if you're rooting for drama, you're happy to see it. Drama was probably the wrong word. Intrigue is a better word.
Yeah, that probably sounds like a better term to use there. Okay, so Thieves Town or CT, which do you chase first? We obviously know that she has to chase CT because
it looks like CT's the choice. I bet both players made this choice for the same reason, that Thieves Town is a dark shopping mall, which is just not a good location.
Yeah, that is. I do think that you absolutely will last locate whatever's in Thieves Town, because, yeah, it is a very out-of-the-way location to get to.
Now, 2 big keys for go mode, like, realistically, like, am I really gonna do something like Hera Basement before going back there?
I wouldn't. Hera Basement just sounds like it's a huge time sink. I wouldn't want to give that back to my opponent if I had any chance.
Like, I'd be tempted to do Hera Basement first, 1 item from go mode, but 2, nah, I'm going to Thieves.
And this isn't discounting Hera Basement. Hera Basement is still technically, like, a potential play for Kotose, but it's definitely kind of reaching, I feel.
I mean, the reality is there's so little left in the world. Every check that we haven't seen from either runner is pretty credible at this point. Especially given that, like I'm saying, there's 2 items we need, so it's not like there's 1 needle in this increasingly small haystack. There's 2 of the things.
Yeah, we saw Sick Kid. Sick Kid was incredibly early in the siege.
Yeah, it was the almost unheard of circumstance where you find Sick Kid and already have a bottle. And yeah, Vex is making the Thieves play. This is mathematically the best play Vex has left. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed to be correct, but the odds are in Vex's favor on this one. Of course, there's another sort of soft, I don't know if it's a full out at this point, but a way Kotose can gain a lot of time. It's something like Skull Big Chest is one of the 2, and like the first check in Thieves is the other one. Vex is going to do everything, including going back to Sahas, whereas that circumstance will let Kotose get 1 chest and hit the mirror button. Probably not enough time at this point, but, you know, something to keep in mind.
I go 1 down for Kotose.
Well, whatever that item was, and I don't know what it was not one of the 2 relevant big keys.
So Kotose is going to go ahead and get her pod big now, along with her Hera small key. Definitely get herself into pod, clear it. And, I mean, at that point, my unfortunate next guess is I feel like she is going to just follow Vex into Thieves.
Bombing the pod big key chest.
Yeah,
there's definitely... The emotions are running a little high at this rate. So far, Thieves has been garbage. The first 3 checks we got in the back of Thieves were nothing. Blind is effectively a double check, because Blind drops an item, the green pendant's an item. Yeah, Kotose is going to go and do pod. It's... Well, first gonna go visit the Smiths again, which are next door to pod. But there's no way you don't do this. It's a crystal, you have to. I definitely think it's important for Kotose to have a chance, for Thieves to be nothing, and for Kotose to just stubbornly refuse to do it.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the dream right there for Kotose. If it just turns out that this is nothing.
The big key to, is that TR?
Yeah, that's the big key to TR. Okay, so both of these dungeons were required.
That's, I believe, GG no matter where the desert big is.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, at that point, like, I don't see how you can come back from like this.
Yeah, because
like,
Vex is going to go kill Trinex. I mean, we've had a hard time following Vex's stream all seed, so I don't know for sure that Vex knows where the TR big chest entrance is, but Vex probably does. Vex has probably gone in every door in the world. And if that doesn't yield the desert big, it's just going to be small amounts of cleanup, you know, like Hera basement, Skullwood's big chest. And those things have to lead you toward the answer. Even if it's Quake to get into Eastern, that's fine, because that means both would have to do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, in VeXtopher's case, like, VeXtopher has the tools, like, and necessity to be able to full clear the world, whereas Kotose is still playing catch-up here, and is going to be playing catch-up for a while. I mean, she still has to go through Thieves, so that's another however many minutes you need to sink to do that. And then you have to deal with the fact that, you know, she's also going to be behind a turtle rock clear. So, hard to see what options she has. I'm just going to be looking at Vex's tracker to see if the DP big key ever pops up.
I mean, there was a 10 arrow on, yeah, Trinex didn't have that, but you had to kill Trinex anyways, so you don't feel bad at all about doing it. We've already seen Super Bomb is nothing. We've come out of that connector. I know Kotose has. I'm assuming Vex probably has.
I mean, I don't think there's anything that like Kotose seen that Vex hasn't.
I mean, it's always hard to say if they've all followed the same connectors, right?
I mean, there's definitely
they haven't seen Eastern, so that could be weighing on the mind, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think at this point it's a safe assumption to assume that EP is just going to be in GT. We get a small key to Skullwoods, so Scream Pendant did not have our answer. Yeah, so I mean, we have very limited options here. We have Hera Basement, we have Skull Big Chest. I mean, have we checked?
Yeah, TR Big Chest as well.
TR Big Chest is also an option.
Yeah, those three things have to either contain the Desert Big or the Quake Medallion, which leads to Eastern. That's really all that's left in this seed.
Yeah, I mean, like, because after these, like, Kotose could technically save some time here if she just gets lucky and, like, deduces, oh, I'm going to need to start checking entrances again. Or, like, not checking entrances, but checking, like, one of these one-off locations. She could save time, but I don't know if it's going to be enough time to make too much of a difference in the outcome.
And, I mean, I'm just going to say, I don't think a Ganon misadventure is very likely from Vex with 19 hearts, red mail, gold sword, silver arrows, half magic cape.
Yeah,
like,
no, not at all.
I mean, you have what I would call an embarrassing overabundance of tools.
Yes.
And we've seen the two big chests were not the answer, so Hera Basement at this point I think has to have something.
Yeah, so what is that something?
I mean, it's either Quake or Desert Big.
Yeah, it's
And if it's
One of the
Desert Big, then Quake is either behind Desert Big or in Eastern and GT. Because Quake exists somewhere in the scene.
Well, let's wait and see.
Oh, see, Vex is returning Super Bomb. This is exactly what I was talking about. Vex doesn't know that this is a connector exit. And in Vex's mind, Super Bomb for Eastern is the most likely thing in this scene. Now, is this going to be enough? I don't think it will be, but this is a rather substantial chunk of time Vex is giving back.
Yeah, that does work in Kotose's favor. But like you said, it's probably not going to be sufficient enough time sink for Kotose to be able to recover.
Yeah, like, I think Kotose's only hope out of this, because mathematically, well, even the fact you have to kill Trinex still, I still don't think it's enough. But, like, Kotose would have to choose Hera Basement before things like Skull Big Chest, and it's just a hard decision to make, right?
Yeah, and like so Blue Link was bringing up a comment about like Swamp Big showing up. That doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, if Swamp Big shows up, that's just an extra link in your chain.
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference because it's literally just like at this point the seed has now become very linear. There's TR Big.
Why is Vex going into Hookshot? Vex hasn't been in Hookshot. I mean, we know there's nothing in here, but that's kind of fascinating, isn't it?
Interesting. Yeah.
I think this was... Vex never took the connector to Bumper Cave. Vex doesn't have... Well, he never checked this entrance either. But I notice Vex only has 5 pod smalls, whereas Kotose has 6. If Vex goes looking for how to reach Bumper Ledge, instead of doing Hera Basement, that's like actually an out. Unfortunately, Vex picks right on the first try. There, I guess, really weren't that many options, right?
Yeah, no, there was like 2 or 3 options.
And yeah, Kotose's going back to the castle. I'm really unclear on the purpose of this play.
I'm also not really understanding what we're trying to do here.
Like, you have Flute and Mitts. Where could you want to be more than here?
Oh. I mean, yeah, do this.
Yeah, I'm really skeptical that was faster, but it's what we did. Yeah, Vex is checking Hera Basement. Even for a runner who we could see all of his stream, it's very hard to know every last thing he's done, but it's pretty likely that at this point Vex knows either there's an answer here or he's made a mistake.
Yeah, and I mean, we very clearly know that this is probably the answer.
I think it just has to be the answer. Like,
yeah,
there's
Desert
nowhere
Big,
else. Could be Quake, could be Swamp Big, but if it's one of those things lead to the answer.
Yeah, I mean, like, looking at the trackers, like, there's nothing else. So,
and
what do we have?
unsurprisingly, it's just the Desert Big directly, which probably, like, most likely Swamp Big and Quake are both in Eastern at GT. Either of them could be behind the Desert Big, but it's not going to matter at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just unfortunate because, I mean, again, like, most of this seed, if not all the seed, was decided by VeXtopher, like, being able to do a water walk to get that glove. That definitely had a huge factor in deciding the outcome of this race.
Yeah, and if we recall, Kotose tried to fake Flipper for that. I'm going to guess that Kotose has not run into a seed before where the island had something really, really good and Flippers just weren't showing up.
Yeah, that's kind of a very uncommon scenario.
Yeah, it's not just Flippers not showing up, but you also have the mirror, so you could mirror to it. You also, I mean, Kotose didn't seem super familiar with the trick, but you have the boots so you can set up the water walk. Like, it all lining up like that, it's not common at all. And I would expect a basically instant dot forfeit as soon as Vex finishes off Ganon here.
Yeah.
Like, Kotose is making the right play now. It's too little too late, but...
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, if Kotose played it out, she'd be less than 5 minutes behind.
Well, we'll have to see what happens here. As we jump into our Ganon fight on VeXtopher's side. We'll try to give as good of a commentary as we can.
I mean, we're not going to see much of the fight, but neither will Ganon, given that Vex is on Gold Sword Silvers.
Yeah. It's a lose-lose situation for all of us. Desert Big Key for Kotose?
Kotose seemed a little stunned that that was seriously the answer. I mean, that just feels mean, doesn't it?
Yeah. Alright, well, Ganon's down for Vex. Get your GG's. VeXtopher gets a racetime.gg time of 2:21:39. Finishing in first place. Thus, will be advancing to 4-2.
And that means VeXtopher is very much alive for the play-in race. Just has to win one more race to get there. Kotose, following the 3-on-3, is unfortunately eliminated, but this is a very hard tournament, and that's still a good showing in my book.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a great race all around. Let's see if we can get VeXtopher in here for an interview. We're joined by VeXtopher.
So, GG's. Good work from both you and Microsoft PowerPoint, Vex.
I hope my Discord's coming through.
Hey, I can hear you.
Yep.
I was actually kind of hoping that it would be cutting in and out constantly.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little surprised. I thought about it. It might have just been a weird start on the streaming software. I probably should have just restarted the stream software as well as my internet, but I didn't want to lose the recording in case it wouldn't start for some reason. And so I kind of was in this spot where I was worried that it would like try to update or something and it would crap out on me, and then I'd be trying to deal with that while playing. And so I was recording.
We saw enough to be able to follow your tracker, and we got something to joke about for over 2 hours, 20 minutes.
I don't know how.
A world clear.
I literally checked every check in the game that I could get to. I even knew where the final heart piece was. It was on race game. I just didn't get it.
Yeah, like when you were doing Hera Basement, we're like, okay, this is probably Desert Big. It could be Swamp Big. It could be Quake leading to Eastern and the Mire entrance. But if it's one of those two things, those just lead to Desert Big.
Yeah, I was like, I was done. I knew it was done at that point. 196, awesome.
Oh, awesome.
Man, even when I don't play Key Drop, it ends up being forever. I don't.
Yeah, so the big...
I don't know how you actually don't last locate here. Oh, go ahead and talk.
Well, yeah, so the big thing here that was really the difference maker between you and Kotose is that you water walked to get the glove on Highlight Island. Kotose tried to get the glove with a splash delete, but forgot that you couldn't mirror there.
Yeah.
And that definitely caused a lot of harm to Kosher, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, I think, like, specifically in a seed like this, where it's like, I don't know how you don't last locate the Desert Big there, right? Because you've got Eastern Palace available, you've got Big Bomb after you cleared, you got 3 Painted Thieves back after you do both climbs. Like, it's just, I don't know how you don't last locate that. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say that Kotose never did Super Bomb because Kotose found Hookshot Cave otherwise and just followed it.
Yeah, when I was doing the North Dark Road, when I came out of Hookshot Cave, I was like, man, what was I doing? Not checking Bug Run? I clicked it off my tracker at some point and didn't actually ever go there. Not that it helped anything. No, the water walk, I was kind of like, I said to myself as I was walking, I was like, or doing the clear, I was like, I kind of hope that there's a pit for me to water walk this. I mean, if there wasn't there, I was going to do it from Skull Woods, because I hadn't even gone up to Skull Woods yet, just because the glove is just so good. But in a seed where you pretty much are full clearing absolutely everything, it benefits you greatly to have the ability to clear more entrances faster.
Did you also get the glove super late?
No. I water walked it from Dark Flute 5. Dark Flute 5 was Ice Crab Cave. Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how to get there. Like I was able to fake flipper there, but I didn't know how to turn a fake flipper into mirroring.
You can't.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, we were to kind of catch you up on the interview here. That really was probably the most key difference in the race, because of course that meant Vex full cleared ice in one trip, which led to the Mire Big, which was significant.
Which
of
had
course,
flippers.
Vex didn't have Fire Rod and in Skullwoods, so that when Vex found Mire, that was just a full clear on the spot for flippers, which ended up being relevant. But the whole deal there is you have to set up a water walk. It's very rare to have this come up, but it was really important here. There was the other angle where if you'd just gone to Magic Bat earlier, both of you put off Magic Bat for a very long time.
Yeah.
I knew it was there, and I was like, I should probably do that at some point. I was like, I'll get it when I go back to Skull Woods, because I hadn't done Skull Woods after I got the glove.
I think when I was first doing Skull Woods, I was trying to remind myself, I have powder, I should mirror and do it. And then I walked out and totally forgot about it until like 45 minutes later.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so my biggest thing, Vex, I don't know what they told you, but like, my first glove was that bat glove, and it was at like an hour 30. So when I got to Ice Palace, I didn't have a glove, so I cleared everything without a
Oh,
glove.
gross.
Unfortunately, the Meyer Big was behind the glove, and then Meyer had the flippers, which was locking everything else. And imagine how I
Yeah.
felt when I had cleared
Oh, that's
almost the
awful.
entire world, and then I got the glove out of bat, and all of a sudden I now have like 15 one-off checks all over the world.
Yep. No, that's awful. Yeah. You know,
So
I'm
there was
thinking
one
about
really-
it though. You could actually turn a water walk into
A fake flipper?
a fake flipper, right? Because you could put. Well, no, you can't. I lied. I'm a liar.
Yeah, I didn't think about water walking. I just assumed I'd be able to figure it out with, like, I don't know, taking damage on that shallow spot. That, like, the damage would put me on the shallows and then I'd be standing there, but that didn't work.
Yeah, I was
So
going
I
to bring up
abandoned
an
it and just went up
interesting
the
sort of.
mountain.
There's one interesting point in the seed that I think could have really swung the race as well. Kotose, what was the sort of decision-making process you had when you were in GT the second time? You did GT right side, and you could have climbed. You instead went and did gloveless ice.
I believe that wasn't that right before I tried to do the water, the fake flipper to the glove? I was hoping to get the glove, I think was in my head.
I think you tried to do the fake flipper to the glove after your first trip in GT, right?
Was it?
When you did the
Oh,
whole left side. Because you went back for right side with Fire Rod. And you
I
got,
remember
as I
now.
recall, not all too much. And it was like, the world's getting thin, do we get a climb here? And you went for ice, which, I mean, with what you knew, it was kind of coin flippy, but
I'll
the
be
climb
honest.
could be tempting, right?
This is just a situation of gloves screwing me from two sides. You saw how I went into Spike Cave without gloves? I am a serial gloves forgetter, and I thought I could full clear ice. That's the reason.
Okay, yeah, I did count 3 different rocks you tried to lift throughout the seed without gloves.
Yeah, I tried. I also tried to go to Catfish without without gloves.
You also tried to lift Spike. You also tried to go into Spike Cave without the.
Yeah, that was great. I've there was another tournament race, this very same tournament, I think 2 weeks ago, that I walked all the way up to the rock in Spike Cave without the gloves.
Hey, who hasn't done that at least once?
Everyone's done it.
It is my bane. I forget about gloves constantly. I don't know what's wrong with me. They do not stick in memory.
Well, an hour to the seed. That's when you start forgetting about the glove. Like, it's like, oh man. Yeah, that was bad. The water walk though, I was like, I was
That's
so
the
glad
play.
I found Ice Rock Cave. I was gonna do it anyways. It's totally worth learning and doing the Skull Woods one, if you know
I'll
it.
admit that's the one that's one of the very few water walks I don't know, and the one time, and it screws me. But
Look it up. It's
that
actually
was the
super
play.
simple. It's actually super simple. You'll never forget it because you actually can't mess it up. You have to wedge yourself in just enough room to make.
Now that I'm thinking about it, can you bomb jump from the island that Ice Palace is on to the island that has where you
No.
can mirror? Ah, damn.
Well, I don't think so. No, I think you go immediately. I think you immediately splash. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think you
If-
can do that.
If you could bomb jump, someone would have probably found that already. Also, that would have been a very impressive glitch if that was found. But I don't think you can do it right now.
No one got to see my terrible play because it was PowerPoint slides, so at least
That ended up being so much closer than I expected. When I found those gloves, I thought I was dead in the water. Like there was no way.
Yeah, I actually think in a lot of ways your early game route was just, it wasn't like worlds better, it was just slightly more efficient. And then the glove kind of put you behind and you've spent most of the rest of the race close-ish to Vex, but just kind of following.
That sounds fair. I pretty much, I think within like 1 or 2 checks, last located those gloves, and then when I went into ice and found that Meyer Big, I was like, no way. This
Yeah,
is
and the Meyer thing was just, Like, there was also a real luck component to it. Like, the fact that you found Meyer before even really having an opportunity to find the Meyer Big, like, before it would have even made sense to attempt ice. Whereas Vex just didn't have the fire rod on that trip. That's one of those things that just kind of works out for him better.
Yeah, absolutely. And like to certainly criticism for me, I could have checked. I had so many opportunities to check Bat earlier, and I didn't. Like, I was in the area where I could have just mirrored and checked it, and I just didn't think about it.
We actually were under the assumption, because we apparently can't math, right? We actually were under the assumption that Bat was behind GT, and so we were thinking that the climb, was going to be the immediate answer. And the climb was the answer to an extent. But it was
required items.
Yeah, but it was a surprise to us when we realized, oh wait, the Bat's just right here, and we could have had this for a while now.
When I was checking the Smith chain, I was thinking, like, I went to Hammer Pegs thinking that Eastern Palace would be there and hoping that Eastern Palace would be the answer.
Yeah,
but
at this
Eastern
point,
Palace must be in GT.
Eastern's either in GT or it's in the Meyer entrance with Quake, specifically in Desert Big Chest.
Wow.
Like, we've seen basically everything. I guess it's also possible that Swamp Big is in Desert Big Chest and Quake's in Swamp Big Chest, but that's getting a little silly.
I'd be willing to bet Eastern is just in GT.
That's
and
certainly
Quake
what
is
the
somewhere
map
in there.
says.
Yeah, I think that's what it says right there.
I felt good about my
Maybe.
execution for the most part. Just those damn gloves spelled doom for me.
Yeah, it was a really interesting race to be able to comp. I would definitely suggest both of you watching this one back.
I love watching them back. Thank you so much for the comps.
I mean,
say
if
that.
you watch
You're-
them back, I'm just going to say, I'm sorry, Vex, straight up front. I was snarky about your internet for literally the whole time.
Dude, I
Oh,
don't
we
think
both
it's my
were.
I don't think it's my internet though. I don't. It was something weird with like Streamlabs or something. Because like my internet is fine. Like it's fine. It's fine now. My stream was just dropping 90%. I restarted my internet. It was still dropping 80% and 70%. I don't know what the heck's going on.
Do you have your bitrate set to like 10,000?
No. I looked.
Yeah.
I've never changed it.
Yeah, shoutouts to Blankforge for tracking VeXtopher, having to deal with the slideshow presentation.
The whole time? Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Well,
if you want my
The entire stream.
if you want my 3 segments of VODs, you can actually line them up and watch the real thing. I could give it to you. But it might be funnier to watch the slideshow.
I mean, it's nothing better than stop motion animation.
Well, I
It
hope
was
you
really
enjoyed
bad
the-
when it started. Like, it was really bad when it started.
I hope
I
you
had synced
enjoyed
you
the
like
Sea of
5
Stars
seconds into
music
the
then.
race.
It was really bad the whole time.
Okay, fine. Yeah, the notification thing that tells me when stuff goes wrong, it was just like every 2 minutes it would give me another notification. It was like, you were dropping 85% of your frames in the last 2 minutes. Over and over again, I was like, man, I wish I could fix this, and I felt so bad the whole time. It actually threw me pretty hard trying to troubleshoot while I was playing.
When I finished Pod, I was thinking I could hit Hera Basement, but I'm missing 2 keys. What are the chances Hera Basement is the thing I need?
Oh yeah, with Eastern Palace on the board still, and having like maybe 1 or 2 entrances around, like you kind of think, well,
And I had 5 checks from Thieves Town also.
yep,
And Thieves was required.
it was.
Yes, it was.
So, if it makes you feel better about that last point, if you'd gone straight to Hera Basement there, I don't think it would have changed the outcome. It just would have narrowed it.
Oh yeah, I don't think so either. By the way, I thought this was nice vanilla Crosskeys, and somehow we had starting flute and all dungeons. What's up with that?
I mean, I gotta say, You pick a starting location from 2 options. One's a hammer, one's a flute. What is this in my Crosskeys?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
You didn't have to do Eastern.
Yeah,
I'm
also,
proud of myself.
shoutouts to getting the super early, especially if you're Kotose, full suite to do Eastern Palace, and then Eastern literally never appears.
I was hoping for Eastern the whole time, and I was disappointed.
I remember I called it out that when you made that trip down the mountain instead of immediately going east, and you got Eastern Big Key, I'm like, that is the single best item she could have pulled there. That's could easily make a big difference because Vex is never going to be gated into it, and you know, you find Eastern, you full clear it in one trip, huge efficiency. There's no Eastern.
That's
Does
funny.
anybody want to go see what's in the tower for us?
You guys didn't get to see my awesome play in the pod up north and found the the one small key that would have made it significantly easier. I bomb jumped over to get the 2 checks behind the front door, so I didn't have any small keys after I potion glitched. But you probably couldn't see it. But I did
We
that.
saw
That's what I
you.
did.
Yeah, we saw it.
We saw you plant the bomb, and then we saw you on the other side. So that's kind of like seeing the bomb jump.
I was really proud of that until I got the small key right super easy, and I was like, wow, that wasted some time.
According to my tracker, I full cleared except for the Desert Palace big chest, and I was in go mode at that point. So I did full
Yeah, I
clear
mean,
effectively.
You both did. Like I said,
Yeah.
at this point, we know
It's
that
hard.
the only outstanding checks in the world are Desert Big Chest and the 6 checks in Eastern.
Yep.
I guess
a
Swamp
steed.
Big Chest too, but we also don't know where that big key is. Probably in Eastern.
Yeah,
Well,
probably.
so that means that the Quake Medallion is probably in the Desert Big Chest.
I mean, in all
Maybe.
honesty, both those things are probably in Eastern, and the Meyer entrance is probably just like a fairy or whatever garbage we didn't see.
We didn't see Graveyard Ledge, I don't think.
So there could be a 1-item K with Quake up on.
Oh yeah, if we didn't see
PT.
Graveyard Ledge, that has to be in one of the 2 remaining entrances. World's pretty thin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mostly all dungeons, except for that one that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that was a good game. I don't know how I still end up doing both climbs on a vanilla Crosskeys, despite not having
Right?
drop or anything enabled.
Both mandatory climbs, let's be clear. You didn't do them frivolously. You had to do both.
Unfortunately.
I mean, you didn't have to kill Aga too.
Yeah, you could have just gone up to Aga 2 with like many items to go mode, an item behind him, and just hit mirror, and other than your anxiety, you would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I wouldn't
You're
suck
supposed to
so
know where all
bad
the
at-
things are.
Oh yeah, I
Just
would've-
know where all the things are.
Was there anything in Hera that was required aside from the basement big key?
The other castle tower small key was in Hera.
Oh yeah. By the way,
was-
that was another thing I did. You guys probably saw the trying to go back in. I was like, Castle Tower is probably required. I'm gonna go back in and do it, but I only had 1 key.
Yeah.
Yeah, as the scene went on, the tilt was pretty evident.
Yeah.
At least you caught yourself before you went all the way through Spike Cave without the glove.
The only time I ever have. I've never gotten that far and turned back before.
Hey, it's like they say, the burned hand teaches best, right?
Yep.
We can only hope.
All right,
My
guys.
hand is scorched now.
All right, everybody, I gotta get going. It's kind of late, so
Yeah,
Thanks
GG,
for
putting it on.
congrats on your win.
sorry about the PowerPoint. Unless it was really entertaining for that long.
It made for a really good commentary. I'll just say that.
I will
Uh,
enjoy watching that back. Thank you so much for the game, Vex. You did great, and thank you, Comms, for being awesome and calming this race.
Yep, thanks everybody.
Our pleasure.
All right, GG's.
Take care.
Okay.
All right.
In
Good night
that
to everyone.
case-
Or good, whatever the rest of the day is, everyone. I'm going to get us over to the audience and get out of here. Thanks to everyone who participated and everyone who came out to watch.
Take care, y'all.